Hello everybody and welcome back. As always, I'm Mateo311 and this is your channel for everything VR related. So today we're going over Praydog's universal mod injector. I will give you all the information you need to know, like what exactly is it, how does it work, what hardware do you need, what are the best experiences with the mod, etc, etc. And obviously towards the end we will have my overall opinion. Now if you haven't noticed yet, my voice is kind of out, so I'm sorry, you're gonna have to deal with my voice going in and out throughout this video. I'm starting 2024 off with basically the plague and a broken toe. How's your year going, guys? But no, this is good news. This is gonna be a fun video. Now there are of course links and timestamps if you want to skip ahead, but before we jump in, this video is brought to you by VR Rock, makers of prescription lens inserts for all of your favorite VR headsets. Quest 3 inserts are now available for purchase, and I'm extremely happy to announce that they've significantly dropped their pricing on this product. They magnetically connect for easy insertion and removal, so if you wear eyeglasses and struggle to fit them inside the VR headset, or you're concerned about scratching your lenses, go check out VR Rock down in the description, and don't forget to use discount code Mateo311 for 10% off and to help support my channel. Okay, so let's start this video off with the basic information because I know there's a lot of curious people out there and also plenty of misinformed people. So the Universal Mod Injector is an open source application that allows you to play basically every Unreal 4 and Unreal 5 engine game in VR with 6 degrees of freedom. Now, one of the best aspects of this mod is its universal nature. For the most part, there's no specific tweaks you need to do to get it to work for Unreal Engine games. You basically just load the game and then the mod. Now, the overall VR experience will vary based on the game itself and your specific hardware, but I'll get into all of that later in the video. For now, though, I just want to talk a little bit more about the overall potential of this mod. Generally, when a mod is made, it is specific to one single game. Now, we've heard the phrase universal, and that's exactly what this is. It works with every Unreal game. Now, it's still yet to be determined if this will cause a boom in ports. I'm not sure about that, but again, we'll save that to the end of the video when I get into my overall opinion of this mod injector. Now let's get into the most exciting part, and that's what games does this actually work for? Now, based on Steam's database, there's over 11,000 titles that you could try the universal mod on. There's also an application called RayPal, which will scan your Steam library and let you know each and every game that will work with the Universal Mod Injector. It also has a few additional tools that makes launching these games even easier. Additionally, there's a massive Excel sheet that's constantly being updated that details just how well the Universal Mod Injector works with each and every game. Currently, over 600 games have been tested, a large portion of which run very well with the Universal Mod Injector, but some of the experiences that are highly recommended from the team include the new RoboCop game, Atomic Heart, Demonologist, The Ascent, Returnal, High on Life, Aliens, Fireteam Elite, and the Tekken 8 demo. These games also include motion controls. Now, this is where we get into tweaking each game. Like I said, some games out of the box will work in VR, but the experience might not be great. And that's where they have profiles. The Universal Mod Injector allows you to change so many settings. Like, you could really get this to play exactly how you want in VR with a few limitations. And the team is going ahead and sharing their profiles, which is going to be huge. Like, no one wants to go in and spend 2 hours tweaking to get the game running the way they want in VR. So the sharing of these profiles is going to be instrumental. And for the games that it works well with, it's a fantastic experience, which again, I'm going to get into later in the video. Now, if I didn't already make this obvious enough, the Universal Mod Injector requires a PC and only works with flat PC games. You're not going to be natively installing this on a Quest, and this is only for PCVR. Now, I know previously there was some confusion here. Someone will watch a YouTube video where the content creator is on a Quest 2 and playing something like Returnal, and they fail to realize that the game is being streamed from a PC. Speaking of PC, you're going to need a fairly beefy one. The team recommends a fairly modern CPU and a GPU around a 3060 or greater. Now, even if you have the latest and greatest technology, you're rocking an RTX 4090, there's still games that'll struggle to run because they weren't designed with VR in mind. Now, they barely hit 90 frames per second on flat screen. Now you want to do it stereoscopic, it's just not going to work. So there are a lot of titles where you might have to fool around with the performance. Lots of tweaks here and there just to get it to run the way you want, which is unfortunate, but kind of expected. Now, Now, besides performance, there are a few other issues that you may run into. Occasionally, special effects will only render in one eye. Default controller mapping may be less than ideal. There's a few shortcuts that you're going to need to familiarize yourself with. And occasionally, there's a few minor issues that prevent the game from loading. But luckily, Praydog provides excellent information and video tutorials on each of these items. Now, I think I covered just about everything you need to know for the Universal Mod Injector. Again, there are all the links you need, the profiles, the Mod Injector download, the RayPal, everything I mentioned will be included in this video's description. So let's just finish off with my overall opinion on what it's going to do for the industry and how do I personally feel about the Mod Injector. Now, when it comes to the overall industry, I don't think it's going to usher in a new era of ports because you cannot use the Mod Injector to actually create a port. What it can do is allow developers to see what their game would be like in VR, and maybe that'll inspire a few, but overall they still have to do the majority of the legwork. So I don't think it's going to usher in a new era of ports, unfortunately. What it will do is probably revitalize some PCVR players, because unfortunately there's just not a lot of PCVR games releasing lately, and I know the PCVR community still wants to play things. They're still itching for more. They love high quality graphics, and the Universal Mod Injector is going to give that to them. So I know some people are going to love this, but you have to be in that, group of people who likes the mod, who likes the tweak, who likes to fool around, because as amazing of a job as they did making it universal and very simple to operate, it's still never really an out-of-the-box experience. There's plenty of people who won't mind jumping through a few small hoops to get a VR experience they can't get anywhere else. But at the same time, there's also plenty of other people who won't even attempt to use this mod no matter how small the learning curve is. Now, getting into my overall opinion, I'm sure this is going to be a bit controversial, but it's just not for me. First off, I will say Praydog did an absolutely amazing job. This is a magical application. The amount of customization and just how well it works, and it is very convenient and easy to use. It really is as simple as load up the game, load up the mod, click inject, and you're 90 to 95% there. Okay, load a profile that you downloaded. Okay, you're 99% there. And that works for a lot of experiences, plenty of experiences. However, I personally believe games need to be made for VR to get the best experience. What you're getting here is the option to play some already great games with a different view. A lot of times you're still going to be using a controller. A lot of times motion controls aren't great, and these games aren't made for VR. So you're going to have a lot of immersion breaking aspects, like, collision might be off, or you just can't touch any objects. You can't physically pick anything up. Now, does that specifically make a game better or worse? No. However, games that are made specifically for VR, I think are much more immersive, overall know how to, capture the essence of VR, at least when it's a good game. When we're talking about things like Moss and Astrobot and Asgard's Wrath 2 and Half-Life Alyx, there's titles that, understand what makes VR so good. And none of that attention is in these flat screen games. That's not to say you can't have a ton of fun or it's not an amazing experience in VR. I just think I'm not going to go back and replay a lot of games that I enjoyed. This is going to be more of a novelty for me. Like, oh, let's see what that looks like in VR. Or let's see what it feels like playing in first person rather than third person. In many cases, it's fantastic, extremely cool, but it's not something I'm going to spend my time on. I really want to enjoy those made for VR titles where the immersion is top notch. And I know someone was saying, hey, look, this is VR. I want to make VR shine. And that's what modern VR developers are doing, the ones who are the best in their class. So unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to spend a lot of time in this. I know for the PCVR community, a lot of people out there, it's an absolute game changer. They're going to love it. They're going to spend plenty of time in it. They're going to see, I want to see what Grand Theft Auto is like in VR. I want to see basically, a million other games. I want to even test if the Mod Injector works better than some ports, which in some cases I think it does. But overall, it's not really for me. But if you want to experience plenty of new games in VR, sometimes it's great. Sometimes it's pure magic. Just not exactly for me. I'm not in the mood to tweak, to spend any of my very minimal free time jumping through any hoops. It's just not for me anymore. Younger Mateo would have just been all over this. But old man Mateo is like, just give me the experience straight up. I want, turnkey house is what I'm looking for. However, I will just once again say before I end this video that Praydog is incredible. This is absolutely incredible work. Like how well they got this to work, the amount of customization, fixes for any of the issues. It is absolutely incredible. And that was today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope my burnt out voice didn't bother you too much. And if you did enjoy this, go ahead, give me a thumbs up. If you enjoy videos like this, make sure to subscribe, turn notifications on. And as always, I'll see you guys on next time.